Donald Trump was having a complete meltdown on Air Force One as he was heading back from West Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago, which was the site of the child sex trafficking identified in the Epstein files, and he was flying back to the White House. Donald Trump was asked questions about Epstein aboard Air Force One and about the fact that his name appears over 38,000 times in the files that have been released, the fact that his name on the unredacted files appears over 1 million times, and now we've learned there may be as much as 50 terabytes of documents not produced. That can mean hundreds of millions of documents haven't been produced. The most devastating documents have not been produced. So Donald, what's your response? He goes, I have nothing to hide. Literally, as he's hiding millions of files, he goes, I've been exonerated. The files show that I did everything right. Total exoneration. Total exoneration. You and your regime are at the heart of this cabal. Here, play this clip.
So Hillary Clinton said in an interview today that she and her husband are getting pulled into the Epstein matter to divert attention from you and that your administration has something to hide. What's your response to that?
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was fighting that I don't get elected with some author, a sleazebag, by the way. And I've been totally exonerated. No, they're getting pulled in, and that's their problem. I don't know, they're going to have to see what happens. But I watched her in Munich, and she seriously has Trump derangement syndrome.
Do you think that she should publicly testify?
You know, I've been totally exonerated on Epstein. And it's really interesting because they've been pulled in. Think of it. They've been pulled in. Clinton and many other Democrats have been pulled in, yeah.
Next, Donald Trump attacks Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though she's no longer a congresswoman. By the way, he's going into her district soon for a rally to attack her. Again, even though she's not a congresswoman, because she keeps speaking out against Donald Trump's cover-up of the child sex trafficking and Donald Trump covering up for the Epstein class, for the Epstein crew. That's Donald Trump's main constituency. Here, play this clip.
Tell us about your trip to Rome, Georgia on Thursday, your trip to Marjorie Taylor Greene's old district.
Well, we have a lot of people that want to take Marjorie Taylor Greene's place, and many candidates, and I have to choose one. And they say whoever I endorse is going to win, but we have a lot of good candidates who want to take her place.
Then a reporter tries to ask a question about another topic, like, are you worried, Donald, that you've stretched our U.S. Carriers or Air Force carriers too thin by sending them to the Caribbean and then to the Persian Gulf and then back to the Caribbean? Does that worry you? He's like, I'm not going to answer that. I just want to talk about Epstein. I'm exonerated. You understand? I'm exonerated. I'm not talking about like actual questions that president should be answered. I'm just going to lie and say I'm exonerated. Here, play this clip.
The USS Gerald Ford, which is sprinting from the Caribbean to the Middle East, is about to hit its 8-month deployment mark. Usually they're deployed for about 6 months or so. Is there any concern that U.S. carriers are being stretched too thin?
I'll answer the question later.
So a reporter tries to ask him another question. What about Cuba? You going to invade Cuba? I don't want to answer that. I'm not answering that. Here, play this clip.
You're warning Cuba to make a deal. What does that deal look like? What do you want them to do?
Cuba is right now a failed nation, and they don't even have jet fuel to get for airplanes to take off. They're clogging up their runway. We're talking to Cuba right now. They have Marco Rubio talking to Cuba right now, and they should absolutely make a deal because it's really a humanitarian threat. And we have a lot of great Cuban Americans, and they're going to be very happy when they're going to be able to go back and say hello to their relatives and do things that they should have been allowed to do for a long time. I'm very interested in the people that are here that were treated so badly by Castro and the Cuban authorities. They have been treated horribly. So we'll see how it all turns out. But Cuba and us, we are talking. In the meantime, there's an embargo. There's no oil, there's no money, there's no anything.
If a deal isn't made, would you consider an operation like the one in Venezuela?
I don't want to answer that. Why would I answer that? If I was, it wouldn't be a very tough operation, as you can figure. But I don't think that'll be necessary.
Okay, well, then a reporter says, let's talk about Gaza then. You claim we're in phase 2 of your Gaza peace plan, okay? So are you going to force Israel to lift the ban on foreign journalists so people can report more on what's actually taking place? And then Donald Trump's like, all types of bans will be lifting soon. We've basically created peace in the Middle East. He says, no, you haven't. In the past week alone, dozens of innocent Palestinians have been killed. The prior week, on one day, you had dozens of Palestinians killed on one day alone, mostly women and children. We know that. We've reported that here on the Midas Touch Network. Since the ceasefire has been announced, guess what? It hasn't been a ceasefire. Surprise, surprise. There have been hundreds and hundreds of innocent Palestinians killed. Also Hamas killed, let me be very clear. Terrorists have been killed, and it's a good thing when terrorists are killed. But innocent Palestinians have been killed by the hundreds. And that's not a good thing. That's a horrific thing. And that needs to be addressed. And we have to stop buying the Trump regime's narratives. Oh, there's a ceasefire. Because he says it. There's no ceasefire at all that's actually taking place. Let's report on the facts. Here, play this clip.
Now that Gaza's entering phase 2, should Israel lift its ban on foreign journalists being allowed into Gaza?
We'll be lifting a lot of bans pretty soon. I think you're going to see everything opening up. Gaza, look, we have peace in the Middle East. Now, you have some flames here and there. But we essentially have peace in the Middle East, and that happened primarily when we did the B-2 attack on the potential nuclear power. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month. If that happened, it would have been a whole different deal. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Then Donald Trump attacks California Governor Gavin Newsom and AOC and Hillary Clinton in the same response. These are the deranged things that are on his mind as he has this meltdown aboard Air Force One. Play this clip.
You're going to have Ukraine talks tomorrow as well in Geneva with Witkoff and Jared Kushner.
Yeah.
What are you expecting there? Is there
Well, they're big talks. It's going to be very easy. I mean, look, so far, Ukraine better come to the table fast. That's all I'm telling you. We are in a position. We want them to come. And by the way, I watched AOC answering questions in Munich. This was not a good look for the United States. I watched Gavin Newsom answering questions in Munich, and this was a bad look for our country. These two people are incompetent.